Okay, very good morning. Today we'll be looking at the strength of the model based on our education system in Malaysia. Alright, so the implication of this model is that the effectiveness of the principal and teachers in carrying out their responsibilities. This will lead to effective schools through successful implementation of the following factors. Of course, this is not the only factors, but these are the important factors that we have come across. So first is to create a conducive environment. Okay, I missed that part of putting in professional leadership, okay, and then creating a conducive environment and focus on teaching and learning process, school having high expectations of the students, continuous assessment and evaluation of students under the teaching and learning process, and to have good collaboration between the school and home. So what are the strengths of the model that we can see is first, the professional leadership of principal instructional leadership. Okay, so principal as it is a professional leadership would bring an effective school environment, not only in Malaysia but everywhere. Alright, so the school vision and mission will be clearly established with a good professional leader. Not only that, the vision and mission will be shared. The success and also the struggle will be shared with each other. And then when this professional leadership be one of the factor of this model, we can see a high level of sincerity demonstrated by the leader, and this will not only create a culture that develops staff's professionalism, but also it will help improve the teaching and learning process by, of course, looking after the teachers' professionalism. And by how do we do that is by observing teachers teaching in formal and of course informal ways. Have the knowledge and skills to evaluate teachers is very important for a leader before they even start to evaluate teachers. Once that is over, then teachers are to talk about or discuss with the leader about the outcomes of the observation. And besides that, a good leader will also provide facilities and equipment for smooth running of teaching and learning process. The ability to improve relationship with those outside schools, such as the parent-teacher association. Now, this is essential to support schools to realize the vision and mission of the school, of course. And besides that, it is very important for us to always motivate teachers to do their best. And how? By identifying the knowledge and skills required by staff, or whatever existing knowledge and skills that the staff already have, they should be appreciated by looking after the teachers' welfare. Next, we would look at conducive school environment. So what does it mean to have a conducive school environment? It is not only a physical environment but also the internal environment which will bring the school to be an effective school or effective learning and teaching process. So school citizens will always work as a team towards achieving the vision of the school. So school leadership support efforts to produce virtuous school citizens. The principal has trust in the teacher's ability, and continuous staff development programs should be able to strengthen the formation of the school culture. And they will struggle to collect and share learning experiences. So principal having the ability to trust the teacher and help provide continuous staff development is essential, because teachers will always need to continuously develop their knowledge and skills in order to suit the environment of the current teaching and learning process. Next is the school administration were to draft regulations, of course, based on the suitability of the current school. It depends. Each school will have different regulations, and school citizens felt they are appreciated as a person with the existence of rules. This is to control the school members' behavior. And school culture is continuously shaped by the practice of rules. Next, we'll be looking at the concentration on the process of teaching and learning. Now, this is the most essential process in order to prove the effectiveness of any models. So in this model, teachers strive to improve knowledge and skills along with the changing environment themselves, alongside with school leadership. evaluate teaching performance based on the standard benchmark. So every school will have a standard benchmark in order for us to um, evaluate teaching performance. So with that standard benchmark, every teachers will have a guideline on how they are supposed to carry out their duty, what are the knowledge that they're supposed to improve on, and what kind of skills they are supposed to use in order to carry out the lessons. And with that, teachers will diversify teaching methods to attract students. Now we all must know that students these days um, aren't used to traditional teaching method, and which is why we should always constantly update ourselves to bring in modern teaching teaching method, like by using gadgets, IT, in order to support students learning. And not only by teaching, teachers should also have the data and information related to students' achievement level in order to keep us updated and to keep ourselves notified on what they should be looking at on every level. And teachers teach based on the syllabus of the Ministry of Education. Teachers teach content based on the expertise of their teaching. So which means if you're an expert in English, then you would be teaching the English subject of levels and also skills based on their proficiency level. Next, so most of the time in teaching and learning, teachers actively involve students. It's no longer a teacher-centered learning, but a student-centered learning, where teachers are only a facilitator uh, instead of spoon-feeding all the information to the students. It's time for students to actively participate and involve in learning so that they can improve themselves. And school will always should stress the importance of professional development of staff, because just like students, we teachers will also need to constantly update ourselves and develop ourselves in a learning environment, because sometimes we may be left behind if we are not keeping ourselves updated with the current trend and also current methods of teaching. And so schools should always support that, to send us for professional development courses, or constantly have people coming in to train the staff on different ability level. And school leadership, uh, school also put in experienced teachers to teach pupils in the early stage schooling. So this is essential because if the early stage is not looked after, then what happens next will not always be smooth. However, this is just an idea, one of the point to help support the teaching and learning process. And next, teachers must relate teaching to students' daily experience, because this will help them remember the lesson better. Next will be school as learning organization. Now, school work as an intensified role of resource center to, of course, increase knowledge and improve the skills not only of staff but also students. So, plan staff development program based on the needs of teachers. Teaching and learning problems made the main agenda of each meeting, and solutions should be shared. Teachers always share knowledge and experience when conducting an activity, and school members always exhibit attitude of wanting to learn. If school is possessed as a learning organization, then definitely school members will always exhibit a good attitude of wanting to learn. Next, teachers attending courses are required to conduct internal courses, which means if you're sent outside to learn something, you have to come back and teach the rest so that we can all grow together. And principal dialogue is to share professional knowledge and skills, with principal always being there to support teachers to pursue education to a higher level, of course, to what we are doing today. So the conclusion is the models suggested should be examined in the application area and, of course, to constantly improve. However, it is impossible to generalize this model, and each school should be measured with one or more models according to its environment. Okay, what I'm trying to say is these models are just a guideline. So for us to use that to bring an effective school environment, or to bring that to an effective schooling experience to the learners and the teachers as well. However, this is not the only model that we should follow, because there are many different models outside there that we can implement, adapt to our teaching environment. and this should be just taken as a guideline and constantly open um, for improvement, I would say. All right, so that's all. Thank you for the attention.